Well, this is sure to rile some people up. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this. But you don't know, Rob. You don't know. This coin, you just wait. It's going to be the next self-driving airplanes, and it's going to be out on Uber for self-driving airplanes with the next app that comes out in 2030. You don't know. You invest in my token. All right, I'm going to talk about why I'm only Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about what Bitcoin maximalism is. I want to break it down in a very simple way. And once you kind of see it this way, it makes it so much more simple when you go onto one of these apps like Coinbase or whatever, and you go, oh, look at all these options here. What can I buy? And then also we're going to go over unit bias, because I love to talk about unit bias because people tend to think you have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can own partial amounts of Bitcoin, just real quick there. But I want to go over why I only own Bitcoin, why I only believe in Bitcoin. There is no other coin that I'm invested in. Yeah, let me break it down the best I can. Hopefully it helps you. I know a lot of people are going to not like this. I know you got a lot of Shibas out there. You got a lot of Doge out there. You got a lot of Ethereum people out there. I'm sorry to break it to you. I only like Bitcoin. This is why. The problem itself is simple. As crazy as it sounds, we need sound money in the digital realm. We need a sound money, a hard cap, sound money in the digital realm. So the problem is actually very simple. It's the solution that's very complex. The problem simple, solution complex. Bitcoin is the solution to the sound money problem in the digital realm. It solved this in 2009. So it's the longest standing blockchain-based store of value. Because of it being the first, it has the largest network of all of them. So the most secure network, it is the most secure digital network in the world because of this. So again, simple problem of sound money in the digital realm, complex solution. Bitcoin is that complex solution to the simple problem of needing sound money with a hard cap in the digital realm. What I argue is that these altcoins tend to overcomplicate this problem. They tend to throw in all of these wild card reasons on why you want to buy this coin and how you're going to buy this. And it actually kind of puts a bad image on Bitcoin, because people who are Bitcoiners, they don't believe in cryptocurrency. They believe in crypto asset, and it's just Bitcoin. So really they just call it Bitcoin. So the whole crypto thing and all of that is actually, it doesn't really apply to a Bitcoin maximalist. They just believe in Bitcoin. Everything else is kind of just a copy of Bitcoin because Bitcoin was first. So the main thing I want to talk about there is that it is being overcomplicated. Now, let's get to one of my other main points. If you take away the utility value of these other coins, or let me put it this way. If you take away the monetary value and you only value at the utility value of these coins. So say let's go with Ethereum. There's the lion's share of Ethereum is because they think of it as ultrasound money. It's not ultrasound money. The problem is that they've clogged up the Ethereum network with all of these NFTs. So because of that, it's gotten very, very expensive for the gas fees, which is so ironic, isn't it? They used to talk about how Bitcoin was so hard to send. It takes so long to send Bitcoin. I have sent Bitcoin in like minutes, seconds, for pennies. It is so cheap to send Bitcoin. It is so fast. It is so efficient. That is just a complete lie. It is not true. But Ethereum is very expensive for its gas fees now. Very complicated too on the whole gas situation and how you send the Ethereum, all of that. Why is it? Because they overcomplicated it. They overcomplicated the simple problem of we needed sound money in the digital realm. And you see that time and time and time again. And because of that, it's not decentralized. There isn't people just sitting and holding Bitcoin or holding Ethereum only as money, because it's not going to be easy to send Ethereum for cheap. I know a lot of people are not going to like me for saying this, but it just isn't. It isn't what Bitcoin is. There is no leader with Bitcoin. There are leaders. There are devs with Ethereum, and they all control this protocol. And because of that, I'm not into Ethereum. I don't think it's a very wise decision. If it needs a 2.0, odds are 1.0 wasn't good enough. I don't like the whole idea of just wait until 2.0 rolls out. All these things you're saying is going to be wrong. I don't like that. That's centralized. Ethereum is centralized. All these other tokens are centralized. It's only Bitcoin that's decentralized with a public ledger. It is so much more decentralized that I would argue that there isn't another one that is decentralized like Bitcoin. So that's the first main point I wanted to talk about. If you then go, okay, well, which is the better sound money? Which is the store of value? Which is the asset in the digital realm? Is it Ethereum? Is it Dogecoin? Or is it Bitcoin? Well, based on the terahashes, or I should rather say the exahashes, I believe, Bitcoin has a much, much higher hash rate, much more miners around the world securing the protocol, much more users involved in Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network as well. And because of that, you have a much more sound, secure money. There is not a single token out there that is more secure than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most secure by a landslide. By a landslide. That is so overlooked. And so when you have a clear winner, when you have the internet, you don't need another internet. How am I making this YouTube video right now? Well, YouTube is a platform on the internet. It's a layer on the internet. You don't need Internet 2.0 to put YouTube on it. No, you just needed layer 1 to be so good that you start putting layers on top of it. And that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is like the internet. When you've figured it out, it's done. Now you add to that. Now you build upon it. If Bitcoin won as sound money, which it has in the digital realm, there is nothing more sound than Bitcoin. Well, then what happens to Ethereum when they don't value it as money anymore? If Ethereum lost the value of it, the monetary value of it, it would be similar to like gold. So I pulled out a $20 gold piece to show in this video, few of them, 4 of them. And I have a point to make about that as well. But if you took down the monetary value of gold, roughly 90% of it is valued as money, right? So with Ethereum, if you look at Ethereum over here, you looked at it at a $554 billion valuation, and you thought to yourself, well, what if you lost as sound money to Bitcoin? Which I think it will. I don't think it's anywhere near as sound as Bitcoin. I would argue it's going to be similar to as if gold lost its monetary value. What would happen if gold lost its monetary value? It would lose 90% of its value. It's currently around $1,800, so it would fall down to a couple $100 if it lost 90% of its monetary value. That's what I see happening to most of these coins, if not all of them, other than Bitcoin. Excuse me, because they're all being valued at these absurd valuations that if they're not valued as money anymore, if they're not valued as a store of value, they are only worth their utility value. So how much is the utility value of having a NFT server? How much is the utility value of whatever these tokens are supposed to be doing? Again, they're all trying to be the next self-driving airplane of Ubers in 2030 with their next 2.0 upgrade. That's what you hear from all of them. So if you're only valuing it for the utility value, I would argue that all of these tokens will fall 90% plus because they're not valued as money anymore because they lost to Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin gets further and further and further, I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse for them. And now with this Taproot upgrade with Bitcoin, that's a whole nother new animal that I'm still learning about right now. But Bitcoin is evolving just like the internet evolved. Layer 1 is so pure that it has no leaders. There are no leaders. There is no Vitalik. There is no dev team. There's nothing like that. It's just Bitcoin. Totally decentralized, no leaders at all. And it's so pure, so good that people are putting layers on top of it, such as Lightning, which is another thing we're going to talk about. So with Bitcoin, it has the largest network of all of these coins. And it's not even close, like at all. And so if you have, say, your Dogecoin, and it's the people's money, Dogecoin, and that's the next point I want to bring up as well. I might as well bring that up right now. If you have the people's money, right, you're hoping that you should be able to peer-to-peer send it. But a lot of people have their Dogecoin and their Shibas and all that stuff. They have it on an exchange like Robinhood. Robinhood isn't allowing you to export off of Robinhood. It is very hard to take custody of these tokens, such as Dogecoin, as Shiba, and all these different things. But it's even more interesting than that. So let me go back over to this little chart over here. Here's something so interesting. So I hear this all the time. Bitcoin is so expensive. I can't afford a $65,000 coin. That's absurd. I can't afford a $65,000 coin. There's no way. Well, you can own fractional amounts of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is divisible to Satoshis. So just like you have $1 and 100 cents underneath the dollar, with Bitcoin, you have 100 million units of account, which are called Satoshis. So there's one Bitcoin, 100 million units of account called Satoshis. You can buy 1 million Satoshis, and it is fraction. You can buy fractional amounts of Bitcoin in Satoshi. So you do not have to buy a full coin. That is an absurd thing. That is like, unit bias is ridiculous. And people think that they can't afford a full Bitcoin, so they'll go into these others because they feel like they can afford that. No, you can have a fractional amount of Bitcoin. You can buy $100 of Bitcoin, $20 of Bitcoin. You can buy $1,000 of Bitcoin. You don't need to be buying a full coin. So that's out of the way. So when you talk about the people's money and they go, well, it's so much cheaper, right? Well, look at Cardano. It's so cheap. It's, I can afford $2. XRP so cheap. I can afford $1.21. Dogecoin, look at that. It's only 26 cents. Okay, so let's take Dogecoin, for example. Oh, better yet, Shiba Inu. So we'll go to Shiba Inu. It's funny. The Shiba Inu crowd it's hilarious. And I have a friend recently that's like, I went and bought some Shiba. And I'm thinking to myself, you must be on TikTok or something like that, listening to these wannabes on TikTok talking about this type of stuff. Anyway, let's get to Shiba here. So Shiba has a market cap of $28 billion, which is staggering for this. And no wonder it's starting to pull back. But here's the interesting thing. So let's look at the circulating supply of Bitcoin. Even though you see that $65,000, I can't afford $65,000. That's absurd. It has 18,800,000 in the circulating supply. 18,873,000 in the circulating supply. Shiba. Oh, wow, look how cheap it is. It's not even a penny. It's a fraction of a penny. It's so cheap I can afford a bajillion of these Shibas. Well, here's why. There's 549 trillion Shibas out there. Is that trillion or quadrillion? I think it's trillion. 549 trillion Shiba Inu units. So obviously the price is going to be low when you have 549 trillion units of measure versus 18 million units of measure. Let's go. This is something a lot of people don't know this. It sounds very basic to go over the market cap and how many, shares are underneath that market cap, how many tokens are underneath the market cap, but a lot of people don't do it. Ethereum. You look at Ethereum, you go, oh, it's only $4,600. Well, there's 118 million Ethereum. 18 million Bitcoin, 118 million Ethereum. That's why. Making sense now? So all this unit bias thing is absurd. The only reason why Bitcoin is such a high price is because they're not valuing it in Satoshis yet. And once they value it in Satoshis, you'll see that same type of Shiba Inu type thing, except there's actually a hard cap, and it's actually the most secure network of them all. And the real network. But let's go to Doge, for example. Okay, so Dogecoin. Oh, it's only 26 cents. I can afford it. This is the people's money. Dogecoin, it's the people's money. 132 billion tokens. 132 billion. Yep. All right. So now that that's out of the way, the unit bias situation is out of the way. That's basically to take advantage of you, in my personal opinion. I think that basically the goal is to take advantage of people and go, oh, well, if we price Shiba Inu so low and we do this, it's going to be bought up like crazy. People are going to think it's the people's money. I have news for you. If you don't hold your currency, this is the next point, is the currency. But if you don't hold your token in a cold storage, you don't actually own it. The exchange owns it. So Coinbase owns it, or Robinhood owns it, or all of that. And if you look at like the Dogecoin millionaire, for example, he's the big shot on YouTube right now, right? Or was. I think it's fallen quite a bit. But he shows his portfolio all the time, right? Well, look at, I'm the Dogecoin millionaire. Here, I got $1 million here. It's in Robinhood. He doesn't have custody of it. That's not decentralized at all. That is the most centralized thing possible, to have Robinhood custodying your Dogecoin for you. Like, it's ridiculous. It has a totally insecure network, and Robinhood is the one taking custody of your token on an unsecure network. Like, people's money, really? 132 billion units, really? Anyway, I hear that all the time, and it cracks me up when I see the Dogecoin millionaire. It's like, you don't have custody of this. That is not the ethos of a Bitcoin network. Like, the ethos is decentralized. Decentralized means you have custody of it. You take it out of the chain. You put it on your own device. You take it off of these Coinbase, Robinhood, Cash App, all these things. You take it off of these exchanges and you put it on your own device, and you hold your Bitcoin on your own device. You can do this with other tokens, but it's not as easy and efficient, and it doesn't have the huge network that Bitcoin does. So there's that. A lot to go over here. Now, here's the biggest point. This is the biggest point. Currency. Now, a lot of people will say, because on the Bitcoin white paper, that it was meant to be a currency, a peer-to-peer currency, a cash. Here's the thing. Bitcoin is classified as an asset. This literally, Jerome Powell commented on it from the Fed chair, Fed Chair Jerome Powell. We're big fans of him around here. But he recently classified Bitcoin as a digital gold, and it is literally classified as a digital type of real estate, a digital asset. That's where you want to be. That's like a Trojan horse, because here's what cracks me up. I'm hearing all of these people that buy into the cryptocurrency types. It's a currency. Dogecoin is the people's money. Shiba Inu is the people's money, right? Well, if you're a currency, you're competing with a dollar. They're going to label you as a security, and they're going to come after you because they do not want competition with the dollar. So the idea is, why would you want to be a currency? You want to be an asset, and Bitcoin is the asset. They're going to allow Bitcoin and not allow these other currencies. They're not going to allow the people's currency of Dogecoin. They're going to allow Bitcoin as an asset, which is such a pure asset that it can also be a currency. So let me get into that, because in the white paper, it says Bitcoin is a currency. What I argue is it was meant to be a digital gold. And so what is this gold coin here? This gold coin is an ounce of gold. So it's worth, it's got $1,800 of gold in it, right? But if you look close, that is a $20 gold piece from the 1800s, from 1894, right? It's a $20 gold piece. This was currency. In 1894, this was what $20 was, which makes you realize how inflated and ripped off we've become on what a $20 bill is. You can think of like a crumpled up $20 bill. That's what your $20 bill used to be, an $1,800 chunk of gold. But this was an asset, right? The reason why it was both a currency and an asset was to protect you from a tyrannical government. It was to protect you, is if they acted out of line, you had money anywhere in the world. You could just go anywhere because you had a gold coin. So it was both an asset and a currency at the same time. And that's what Bitcoin is. How do I prove that? Well, look at El Salvador. They're operating on the Lightning Network, which is, it's funny because everyone said it was so slow and inefficient and you couldn't buy your coffee with Bitcoin. And that's what Peter Schiff says. Now you can literally walk into a Starbucks, like name brand Starbucks in El Salvador, and go buy a coffee with your Bitcoin on the Lightning Network right now. As I'm speaking, you can literally do that. You can walk into a McDonald's and buy your food with Bitcoin on the Lightning Network in El Salvador. Why would El Salvador adopt Bitcoin and not another one of these altcoins? And when the term altcoin is alternative to Bitcoin. That's what altcoin comes from, by the way. So it's a wannabe of Bitcoin. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this because I only believe in Bitcoin. It's a big deal to me. They chose Bitcoin, and more countries are going to choose Bitcoin because it is sound money in the digital realm. There is no leader. It isn't attached to any country. It isn't attached to a Vitalik or a dev team or waiting for a 2.0. It just is Bitcoin. It's there. It's in operation, and it has no leaders. It's totally decentralized with a public ledger. So you can't corrupt this system, and every day it's getting more and more and more secure. So the next thing I want to go over is innovation versus security. So these tokens, they tend to say, well, because we have so much innovation here, that's why our token is the next big thing. Well, Rob, just wait till you hear this out, because just wait what they do with this token. You don't even know. It's going to do this, and that. It's called Tron or whatever it is, right? It's going to do this, and they're talking about innovation. Bitcoin worries about security because it's worried about being sound money. And because of that, you have the most secure network of them all by a landslide. By a landslide, it's not even close to how many miners are out there mining for Bitcoin. People mine Ethereum just to transfer it into Bitcoin. That's how secure. People want to be in Bitcoin that bad. They will mine other tokens just so they can sell those tokens. They buy Bitcoin with it. But anyway, innovation versus security is a big, big deal, and it's very overlooked. And once you have the most secure network, then it doesn't make sense to go after innovation if that innovation has any type of monetary premium to it, because the most secure network is going to be the sound money in the digital realm. There isn't going to be a need for innovation in the money department. In the store of value department, there isn't going to be a need for innovation. There's just going to be innovation on top of Bitcoin because you need the most secure first, and then you're going to add layers on top of that. And how do you prove that? Well, look at the Lightning Network. I'll do a separate video on the Lightning Network in the future because it's a very, very long subject. But basically, the Lightning Network is another layer on top of Bitcoin that allows you to peer-to-peer send your Satoshis, because you're talking about the unit of measure on Lightning, but it is Bitcoin, much, much faster. I'll make a video specifically on that. But the next thing I want to go over, and this might be the last point here, is when you look at the Bitcoin node distribution. So this is actually a chart of all the Bitcoin nodes out there that are in operation right now. 13,438 nodes in operation validating the network. Now, what did these nodes do? They downloaded and synced the entire Bitcoin blockchain, over 700,000 blocks, and it secured the system. So every time someone builds a node, I have two of them, you secure the entire Bitcoin blockchain. It is easy to build a node. If you don't believe me, just look up how to build a node on YouTube. There's probably a bunch of videos on how to do it. And that is a very, very critical thing on securing the system, is running your own node. And I'll do a video on that in the future, but this shows just how secure the system is. There's nodes getting deployed every single day that are live and upkeeping the system and securing the system. It's very, very big deal on how much nodes out there. Now, when we're talking about hash rates, Bitcoin's hash rate, when you pull an all-time chart, it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And then basically because of that, you're seeing it's not even close on the terahash rate. I mean, I don't even really want to show the others because it's really not even close. And this basically just shows how many miners are mining Bitcoin and securing the system. So look up the hash rate and look up nodes, and those are the two things on security on that system. Whew, that's a lot of points there. All right, let me go back to this. I like to do my videos in one take. I don't like to edit my videos. So that's pretty much all of the points I wanted to go over on why I believe in Bitcoin over any other token out there. I believe in getting a sound money in the digital realm. I still find a need for my precious metals, especially my utility precious metals. That's where my main focus is. I'm not that big on gold. But I think that there's the real need right now is for a universal sound money that is totally decentralized in the digital realm, and that's Bitcoin. After that, sure, you might have a cute project, right? And you might want some utility value on there, but you're going to probably be operating on the Bitcoin network because you have that base layer that is the most secure layer of sound money. You're probably going to operate on top of that. And this recent rollout that happened like yesterday is a pretty big deal towards that. But anyway, if you take away the monetary aspect, if you take away the store of value, and Bitcoin wins as a store of value, and none of these other tokens are even close as strong of a network to be a store of value as Bitcoin, then what are they valued at? Their utility value. They would be similar to only valuing gold for its utility value, which is about 5-10% of gold's current market price. That's how I look at all these tokens. I look at them like they are rivers and streams crashing in, and all this volatility up in the hills, and it's all going to trickle down to the ocean that patiently waits underneath, and that ocean is Bitcoin. That's the video. That's everything I wanted to talk about. I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments down there of people telling me, you don't know about my token, you don't understand, you do not get it. Well, I've done quite a bit of research. I've talked to quite a bit of people about this. I've taken a lot of time talking to a lot of Bitcoiners, and my conviction just gets stronger in Bitcoin being the best sound money in the digital realm. That's the video. Thanks everybody for watching. See you at the next one. Signing out.